What is up, my friends? We are back with another episode of the Anfield Agenda podcast, fresh off the Reds' 1-0 victory at Turf Moor against Burnley. Delighted to say. I'm joined by Mr. Conor Crosbie and Mr. Chris Stonadge. And gentlemen, it was not easy work, Chris, but it's fair to say 4 wins from 4. Can't really argue with that.
Lads, how are your hearts? It's been a pretty mental start, hasn't it, to the season? But listen, 4 out of 4, top of the league, the only team to do it. Cannot complain, can we? And I think my sort of need to go to the doctors and see my heart because it's getting a little bit strenuous out there.
It really is. And Conor, you and I exchanged messages before we record the player ratings and stuff like that. And I think a big sense of relief from both of us in our messages today after the game.
100%. Like, what a horrible game of football to watch. It was just absolutely horrendous. And then it was so satisfying to win in that manner, even just the penalty at the end. Just they're like thinking, yes, we finally got over the line. And then just Hannibal just throws up the arm and that's it. Like, what a glorious way to win that kind of game.
Yeah, it was a real, after an international break, first game back, still finding a rhythm. But, 4 wins from 4, I keep coming back to that, and that makes me very, very happy. Let's talk about it, Chris. And straight from the off, I'm going to say, was it a poor performance or was it a dogged defensive display from Burnley, or a bit of both?
Yeah, it's one of my favourite phrases from one of my favourite podcasts, a bit of both. That was absolutely, Burnley were defending from their box, not from just their box, from the 6-yard box for basically the entirety of the match, having 11 packed bodies in there. And when we are trying to play properly and play through them, it can be very, very difficult. That's why they had so many block shots, because basically they were just like, right, we'll let you shoot, but we'll just get someone in the way of it. But I also think there were some really nice patterns in there, and some real signs of encouragement. And also, I don't like to say it because it might be a curse, but there seemed to be a sense of inevitability that we would score, even if it came in that way. So I had full belief that we were going to go on and do it. But yeah, a little bit poor, but it doesn't make me worried about everything, because it was such a tough place to go and a tough place to break down as well.
So, Conor, one thing I was wondering before we get stuck into the ins and outs of the game was, do you think because we played after Arsenal, there was a bit more pressure on us this weekend? Obviously, Arsenal had gone back top of the table. They had 3 wins from 4 after their game. Was there a bit of pressure on us today to make sure that we didn't slip up?
I think there's always pressure, though, isn't there? Like, I don't think the lads would have been affected by that too much. It doesn't help, obviously, but I think every game you're going into, you think we can't drop points here. Like, you see Man City, like, they had lost today. Like, it's not too far of a stretch to say they're out of the title race after, 4 games. So, I think every game just has that huge pressure now. You can't be dropping too many points. So, I think it wouldn't have affected too much, but obviously a little extra maybe.
And one of the things, Chris, that I love about these games is you said you had no doubt that we were going to get the win, but you love breaking the hearts of the opposition fans, the Arsenal fans, the Manchester City fans, Chelsea fans, who are all watching on thinking, oh my God, they're going to drop points. They're going to drop points. No, we're not.
It's magnificent, isn't it? We if you take every game from before 80 minutes, we'd be rocking out of here with 4 points. But we got 12 out of 12, and you can just sense the fume, and it's beautiful to just have a little. I don't really go much on Twitter or X much these days, but I always have a little gander to see what rival fans are saying. And I tell you what, if that could be made into substance and be injected into people's veins, my goodness, I'd be an addict already.
I think we all would, mate. I think we all would. And it's only going to get better as the season goes on as well, because they're looking for anything. They're looking for any Wirtz slander. They're looking to write off Mo. They're just looking to have a pop left, right, and centre. But I want to start off with the bad today, if that's okay, Conor. We'll get the Milos Kerkez situation out of the way nice and early. Arna, under no illusion, said straight out, yeah, it's because he had the yellow card, and I couldn't bank on him not having another one.
Yeah, 100%. Like, he just looked like a walking red card waiting to happen out there. Like, even after he got the yellow, he pulled down one of the Burnley lads kind of around the halfway line. I was thinking, this could be dodgy here. I think it probably wasn't the second yellow, but you don't want to give the ref any kind of chance to make those decisions. But I thought, it was a fair choice, in fairness. Like, it seems harsh to pull him off before half-time, but then Robertson comes in. He was fantastic as well. So, yeah, I'm back in slot on that one. That wasn't too harsh or anything that way.
Well, there's two things on it, Chris, right? It was decisive, as Connor said, which I do love to see, but it also encompasses why we needed to keep Andy Robertson around this season and how important he's going to be in getting Milos Kerkez up to speed.
100%, yeah. The yellow card was so stupid as well, wasn't it? Like, just the worst dive ever. At least make it look good. You know what I mean? But
there was contact, though, wasn't there?
I mean, contact. What is contact? I mean,
I'm not saying it was a penalty, but was it actually a dive? You know what I mean?
I've never seen a referee, bar maybe the Mike Dean days, so excited to get the yellow card out as Oliver was there.
The one thing I'd pose to you guys as a question is, we should really praise Arne Slot here, but would Jurgen Klopp have made that substitution? Do you think?
No, definitely not.
No, I agree. Yeah, I don't think he would have. I think Jurgen was a big let them work it out kind of guy.
Yeah, and
I think Jurgen was big on optics as well, wasn't it? Like, he knows that would look bad to pull a player off before half time. I think he would.
We have to praise Slot for that. I think that's the biggest sort of differential between the two coaches. There's a lot of similarities, but the one biggest differential is Slot as really decisive. And obviously, as you guys said, Kerkez, I mean, one of the only ways we could have actually lost that game is going down to 10 men. So having that clarity of mind and saying, right, let's get him off. Let's let him regroup. After a really good performance against Arsenal, by the way, but let's let him regroup, come back against Atletico Madrid on Wednesday stronger. I think it was a brilliant decision.
I also liked the fact that he spoke with him. He didn't just take him off and just send him to the bench. He actually took a second, had a little chat with him, and I'm sure Milos knew himself, that it was no surprise that the manager thought he might pick up a second yellow. So that was one of the disappointing performances. But I want to move on to somebody, Connor, who I thought was simply sublime, and that's Ryan Gravenberch. I don't even know what to say anymore. I feel so guilty that I had doubts when we signed him. I kept thinking, surely there has to be some more to this. Why are Bayern Munich getting rid of him? But as each game goes by, he just looks a bigger and bigger bargain.
Yeah, like there's no words. He's just a sexy footballer to watch, really, isn't he? Like, every time the ball comes to him, he has it back to a player, just little drop of the shoulder, gone past, takes 2 or 3 players out of the game straight away. It's so predictable. It's like Robin that time, that cutting in from the right onto his left foot. You know what's happened, but you can't stop it. Every time he gets the ball, he's just taking players out, and he's just the dribbling, the passing, the footwork, everything. He's just been absolutely incredible.
There was nearly a moment today, Chris, and I think it was in the second half, I almost called him Fabinho, because we know what he can do, as Connor said, in possession, press resistance, but those long legs were leveraging in and getting some good breaking up of play today when needed as well. I thought he was our standout performer on the pitch. He was the Anfield Agenda man of the match.
100%, and he was definitely mine as well. He was unbelievable. I think it's interesting what you say about Fabinho, because I was just going to throw another name in there. I was going to say he reminded me of Thiago today. So that's a pretty incredible.
I mean, can you imagine a hybrid of those two gents together?
I think that's what he is. I genuinely think that's what he is. I mean, he rarely gives the ball away. He's going around chipping balls over people's heads and gathering the ball, and always keeps possession, pinging balls around, tackles, press resistance. Honestly, right, if he continues on this trajectory, is there a better defensive midfield player in the world? And this is a guy who wasn't a defensive midfield player at this time last year. Like, this is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, Rodri's probably setting the tone for the last few years alone.
Yeah. And there's again a big similarity, but Gravenberch is so much more mobile than Rodri. And you guys know how much I love Rodri. I think he's brilliant. But Gravenberch, I think, has potential to go even further. He is unbelievable, and if he continues on this road, and he's so consistent as well, I think that's one thing I would say from last season. I don't remember many stinkers, if any.
And he's not even nearly into his prime yet, Connor. That's the really scary thing here. Like, that position, probably 25 to 28 would be a prime for a player. What age is Gravenberch? 22, 23?
Yeah, 23, I think.
Yeah, is he that young? I think he was young. I think he was that young. But yeah, like you said, like, he's plenty of years ahead of him. Like, he's already at that level. Like, if he can stay consistently at that, we're talking about a legend of this football club. He's just absolutely ridiculous. And like you, I had my doubts when he came in. I thought he'd be all right, but I didn't think he'd be that good. Like, that's just ridiculous levels of football he's been playing.
He's 23 and he's 3 days younger than me. So there we go. Good man.
I mean, I don't know if everybody heard that, but I definitely heard Chris's missus laughing at that in the background. Yeah, I'm going out with an absolute waste of space.
Yep. At least she's not crawling out the video today.
Well, the video's still young. There's still plenty of time. Connor, one thing that I was really pleased with today, and look, there wasn't much to be excited about, but back-to-back clean sheets. You know, we've gone 4 games conceding 2 if you include the Atletico Bilbao game, the Community Shield, and then the first 2 league games. So, although Van Dijk and Konate didn't have much to do today, aerially, once again, absolutely dominant, and I'll always be happy with a clean sheet.
I was going to say, I don't know if there was much of an attacking threat to fight against today, but yeah, like, it's always good to see clean sheets, good for the confidence, good for everything. Like, we've seen Konate in particular more than Van Dijk has been a bit shaky to start of the season, but he's starting to come around and look himself again. And like you said, just aerially, the two of them, like, every ball that comes in, there's one of them just there, just hitting it away. It's good to see, and hopefully they can keep growing that partnership over the year and get that confidence back from years past.
Yeah, the substitution, Chris, just at half time to bring on Connor Bradley, I think made a big difference in the second half. Now, look, it could have been led by the challenge on Maka in the first half, and I would imagine Maka was only going to get 60 today anyway after playing for Argentina. But I do think that, again, that was an astute change from the gaffer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what having Szoboszlai at right back gives you, doesn't it? Is that if it potentially isn't working, you can bring Bradley on and push him forward. And I think he did make a difference. He had a couple of shots and he was moving the ball quickly in midfield. I think what was really clever, and whether it was deliberate or not, I don't know, but was waiting till half time for the sub, because obviously we have 3 slots to make substitutions throughout the match, and obviously half time doesn't count. I thought it was really, really clever to actually just say, look, McAllister, you can just hold out till half time if you can, and then we'll make the change. And that actually enabled us in the end to bring on, the 3 players, potentially slightly later on with more tired legs. These little game-changing situations can't be underestimated, can they?
No, absolutely not. And there was one, I guess, juxtaposition of the 2 left-hand sided players for us today, Connor, with Cody Gakpo a little bit more assured, a little bit more reserved maybe in his movements. And then we seen when young Rio and Ngumoha came on, step overs galore, running straight at people. And I know which one I want to be seeing more of, mate, and that is the young, bold attacker who just doesn't have any fear. I'm not trying to knock Cody. He always chips in with his fair share, and he's a brilliant player to have around. Deserves his new deal, but I'd be a liar if I said I don't get up off my seat every time Rio gets the ball.
100%. Like, even Gakpo, like, not to discredit him, but he's becoming slightly predictable. Like, every time now he's on the edge of the box, he's trying a shot, and very few of them are hitting the target. So definitely no harm seeing a bit of Rio. And I actually have a bit of a theory on Rio. I'm wondering, he only ever seems to come on when tactics are completely out the window. Do you reckon Slot just doesn't trust him tactically? And it's just literally, we want him for a few minutes of chaos. Like, even, I seen a clip floating around him recently playing for the under-21s or the under-18s or something. But he was just like skinning players, but there was 2 or 3 obvious passes he should have made, and everyone was just kind of pointing that out. I wonder, does Slot see this and just think he's not ready for 45 minutes because tactically he's not quite there yet?
I think, Chris, that's probably a fairly astute observation by Connor. And look, he shouldn't be the complete package, should he? Just turned 17 years of age. But it will be interesting to see as the season goes on if he really feels he can, like Connor said, bring him on for 45 here and make a big difference. Like, let's say Lucho was on the bench. Will he treat him in the same way and give him those same opportunities?
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? I mean, I hadn't even thought of that, but that really does make sense.
It's always when we have like 10 players up front, like, that's when he comes on.
Yeah, and also, but the thing is as well, the thing that
he's our Harry Maguire. Then is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
The thing that really impressed me about him is that I thought for maybe the 5-10 minutes before he came on, we weren't really finding those passes in the box. As soon as he came on, he found Frimpong, who had a shot on goal. Like, literally through the sea of Burnley players, Ngumoha found that pass after taking 2 players on. Like, he's clearly got it, but he's 17. Like, he's not maybe going to have that in-game intelligence. I think that makes complete sense, to be honest. I'd like to see him play a lot in, like I said, the Carabao Cup. Say he gets a few minutes in that, 90 minutes, maybe even 70, 80. But yeah, I really hope that he improves that in-game intelligence if that is the case, because the raw ability, I mean, it's there to see, isn't it?
At the very under end of the career spectrum, Connor, we've got Mohamed Salah, who did score from the penalty spot today, but I don't think it's unfair to say didn't really get going in the game. Again, wasn't on his own. So there was a lot of poor performances in the final third of the pitch, but should we be worried about Mohamed Salah at the start of the season? Because this is usually where he's at his freshest and his best.
Yeah, it's hard to know, really, isn't it? Like, he's still scoring the occasional goal, but his form definitely hasn't been what it used to be in terms of just general play. So it's kind of hard to be too critical when he used to score. And obviously today was a penalty, of course, but like, he is the difference maker still at times. Like, it's I can understand Slot not wanting to take him off too often because he is the player that could just pop up and score. But then again, let's say when Ekitike came off, like, could you have stuck Chiesa on the right instead of Salah? But then what does that make to the rest of the game? Like, do we end up winning the penalty? Do we play different? Like, it's such a tough one because he is our best player when he's on form, but now he's not on form. What do you do? Like, you can't really just not play him either. Like I don't think he'd be too happy with that.
It's a tough one, Chris, isn't it? Because in one sense, we've reinvented the attack. We've brought in Ugo Ekitike. We know we'll have Alexander Isak coming in soon. Young Rio and Ngumoha and Chiesa getting more minutes. So it doesn't really matter who scores the goals for us. And it's always great not to be over-reliant on one player. But I have to say, I'm not seeing the same Mohamed Salah I seen last season so far. Not saying there isn't time to change. And like we've said, we've got the Diogo Jota situation, of course, as well. A brand new attack that Mo still getting to terms with, the likes of Florian Wirtz in the hole behind as well. So there is a lot to, I guess, justify or explain why we're not seeing the best of Mo just yet. But are you concerned?
No. The thing is, we've seen this before, haven't we? Like we've seen this film before where Mo Salah maybe will have even 2 to 3 months of just not being on it. And then all of a sudden, maybe it's a goal, maybe it's a performance, maybe it's a moment that clicks him into gear, and all of a sudden he will have a streak. And actually, it's one thing. Obviously, I've got so much praise for Mo Salah. He's one of the best players the Premier League's ever seen. But he's actually, albeit he's consistent, he is quite streaky. Like, he has had a lot of periods in his Premier League career where he hasn't performed. And it's impossible to obviously maintain a level over and over when your performance level is so high. But he is actually quite streaky, and I wouldn't be that concerned. And the fact that he's got 2 goals and an assist in 4 games and still played shit is brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely better to be having these conversations with a few numbers behind it, like you've said, rather than maybe just poor performances. Right, I need an honest answer from both of you on this, and I'm going to go to Connor first. Were you nervous when he stepped up to take the penalty?
100%. I've never once trusted Salah on penalties. Like, I know he scores the vast majority of them, but he just never places them. It's always just smash it and hope for the best, or so it seems that way anyway. But yeah, no, I wasn't. I was hiding. Not confident.
Chris, what about yourself?
A full Ruben Amorim against Grimsby sort of vibe. Like, I was not watching that, but yeah, I as Connor said, I don't know what it is. He's got like a pretty strong record. I think he's missed maybe 7 of 53 or something, which is, you know, a pretty high percentage of goals. So, but we shouldn't be nervous. But he just has that. I think it might be left-footed penalty takers. I think that's my fear. I hate left-footed penalty takers for some reason.
I wasn't. It was the placing of the ball that actually made me the most nervous today, because he seemed to have 3 or 4 goals to get it into the exact spot he wanted, and I mean that made me nervous. But all of that aside, it was a very well taken penalty, Connor, and sent Dubravka the wrong way, and didn't make the mistake of putting the 3 rows into the stand behind this time. Kept his composure, and like I said, sent the keeper the wrong way and buried it.
Yeah, it was a great finish, and like, you could see the relief on his face as well. Like, I'm sure he's aware of the fact he's not playing up to where he should be. Like, so I'm sure getting a few goals like that will do him no harm. Will get him the confidence back, and hopefully we'll see the Mohamed Salah we know and love in the next few weeks, because the games are coming so thick and fast now. We really need him to be scoring goals.
Yeah, it's great. I love that games come twice a week. I love when you're in Champions League and got this to look forward to on Wednesday. But Chris, will there come a time where Arna maybe starts to hold Mo to account? Now, we can say this from a perspective of maybe trying to balance out his minutes to keep him fresh, or starting to take him off at 70, 75 in games. Do you think we'll get to that position, or is he still that Cristiano Ronaldo-esque, play the 90 no matter what?
Ooh, that's a really hard one. I mean, because you'll have situations like today where he pretty much stinks up the gaff and then wins you the match. So it's sort of like, do you balance that, the potential of winning a match in a moment against maybe, the fact that he hasn't performed well? That's really hard. Honestly, I'll say no. I don't think he will. I think he'll continue to play 90 minutes because he's got the fitness to do so. I think he'll stay on.
So, Conor, we didn't see Isak in the squad today, and Arna said that it could have been a case that he did 10 or 15 today and 10 or 15 against Everton, or a good solid 45 in one of the games after a good week's training. Which one would you have preferred? Do you prefer the fact that we held him off, we might see 45 on Wednesday, or would you have liked a little glimpse in the next couple?
I mean, from a sports science point of view, I'm sure he made the right decision. But like, where's the fun in that? Like, we all wanted to see him on the bench today, of course. Like, even if we didn't even get to see him play, just to see him sitting there in the actual kit and everything would have just been so nice. But yeah, I think Slot probably made the right decision. To be fair, like, there's no point rushing him in, and maybe we would have had a different discussion if we hadn't have won that game, thinking we could have brought him on for 10 minutes and maybe he could have scored. But I think ultimately we might as well get him up to fitness as quick as we can by doing the right things like this, like letting him get the full week, give him 45 minutes and then 60 minutes, then 90 minutes eventually. But yeah, I think good decision.
On the other side of it, though, Chris, now we've got something to look forward to on Wednesday. We're probably going to actually see those 35, 45 minutes from Isak and in a Champions League night at Anfield under the lights as well.
I'm just happy the Champions League's back, to be honest. I fucking love the Champions League, man. It's like, I don't know what it is about it, but like every game just feels like so amplified. And the fact we've got Atletico Madrid, I can't wait to watch Alex Isak play for Liverpool as well. It's just good vibes at the moment. I can't wipe the smile off my face, Craig. It's brilliant. To be honest, I'd almost say like maybe give him 10 to 15. I would completely avoid using him against Everton, to be honest.
Same, 100% agree.
Mainly because they're going to probably try and cut through him. But yeah, if I'm being honest, just ease him in because we've got the players to cover in attacking positions. So yeah, just take your time, Alex. Take your time.
Just think about it, Connor. Against Atletico Madrid, maybe 50, 55 minutes into the game, and then all of a sudden you look to the sideline. There he is, the number 9 gleaming on the shirt. The cop stands and rises, the new hero who's about to walk onto the pitch. I mean, we could have got a few minutes today, but we still have it to look forward to now.
Yeah, I wonder is a bit of it, even just the psychology of that. Like his first moment as a Liverpool player will be like a huge night under the lights, full Anfield, the cop singing his name. Like that is, it's a bit more of a step up than Turf Moor away, like isn't it? Like in fairness for his first few moments. So yeah, I think he'll be very excited by that. And if he could come on and just score a few bicycle kicks and all straight away, it wouldn't hurt either. Like would it?
Chris, has he ever looked at you the same way that Isak looked at Verge?
No, I don't think so, to be honest. And the way I was looking at Isak probably through the screen was probably more admirable. I tell you what, that those two are going to make... Well, you see them two coming at corners as well. Like, God, Konate, Gravenberch. We got a massive team, lads. We're huge.
Yeah, all of a sudden we do. You're right. We are suddenly becoming 6'3" plus now, and it's nice to have 4 or 5 of them. The 11,
lovely. And then you got like McAllister, who's just like 5'8". But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Short kings.
I'm not having
corners
Gakpo
today, by the way. Sorry,
corners.
it's good. Do you reckon? Yeah, I was going to say about the corners. Gakpo one is weird, but do you reckon the whole like crowding the keeper is a new thing we're doing, or was it just because it was Dubravka? Do you reckon we'll see that next game? Like,
it's in vogue at the minute, isn't it? It's like everybody's putting it into the mix, or even with longer throws now. People are just trying to have moments of chaos. So we nearly got a breakthrough with it in the first half. Chris Konate got on the end of one of them, but you know, to be fair, it was a little bit behind him, and he was always rising.
Yeah, I think to be fair, what I will say about Burnley today is they actually dealt with those really well because I thought the deliveries were really good from Gakpo. I never had him down as a corner taker, but at 6'2", but yeah, pretty vicious corners going in there, and Dubravka couldn't really deal with many of them. Defensively, they did well. It's like the whole, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like the whole, like just lumping it in the box is sort of back in, isn't it? Like, look at Brentford's goal the other day. Carvalho,
beautiful, wasn't it? Fabio Carvalho was beautiful.
Amazing.
And what I loved about that goal is that Garnacho just totally switched off and lost his man.
Amazing, but you could literally, if you swap the kits, that would be Rory Delap circa 09. Like that, it's sort of back in. But I understand why people do it. If you play the percentages, I'm sure it will cause more good than bad.
I wanted to just finish up on this game with a conversation around Florian Wirtz, who we've now seen make his Liverpool debut and play through his first few Premier League games. And I have to say, Connor, for me, I'm seeing progression every time he takes to the pitch. And I thought today was probably his best game so far for us.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite at his best just yet, but you can definitely see he's getting more comfortable. Like, or even he's getting plenty of minutes as well. Like, even compared to, I was like wondering earlier about Ekitike coming off after 17 and Wirtz getting to, 88? Like, do you reckon it is just a fitness thing with the two of them, or with Ekitike more so, or like, I think Wirtz is starting to get there, but I think Ekitike is still behind a little bit, but definitely, yeah, he's improving.
I think it's probably the intensity of the Premier League being that little step up. Now, the Bundesliga is a high quality league, no doubt about it, but you don't get a minute in the Premier League. You just don't. It's a very physical, demanding league. And I think what I noticed, Chris, in the first couple of games for Wirtz was he was dwelling on the ball a little bit longer, maybe that second or two that he may have had in the Bundesliga. But today, I thought he found some good pockets of space.
Yeah, I mean, he was the source of most things good, I think, for us, especially when in open play anyway. He was really, really like finding areas. The one thing I think he needs to slightly improve on, and it's just releasing the ball. It's a bit sort of Curtis Jones-esque, the way that he sometimes keeps the ball for slightly too long. But I think he'll learn that. And I think a couple of give and goes, maybe pass the ball a little bit crisper. But that's because we hold him to such high standards. And you've heard me. I think he's a future Ballon d'Or winner. I still think that. But like I just still think he's getting used to it. I thought he was good, but there's going to be more. I really hope there's going to be more because he's world class.
Well, on the more, Connor, what is a realistic expectation for this first season for Florian Wirtz?
Yeah, it's the kind of thing, like, do you go off goals and assists, or do you go off just general performances? Because, like, everyone loves, obviously, stats are very clear, but, like, if he's playing phenomenally every game but only scoring 3 or 4 goals over the season, I don't care. As long as he's playing well and the team was winning, I wouldn't put, like, a number on it, but if we could get up to, I don't know, 10, 15 goals and assists altogether, it's not too bad a return.
And Chris, have you known anybody who's joined our club that people are so eager and hopeful to write off as a player from an opposition perspective? Every single opposition club's fan is analysing every single pass he plays, every movement, everything he does, praying that he fails.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, do you have any inkling? Like, I don't get what it is about him because he's so big money. Is that what it is? Like,
It's fear. It's pure fear.
yeah, he's
100% fear. I agree. Like
he's
they were even trying to make him comparisons with Cherky, which is just nonsense.
sorry. Like, we're shopping. We're shopping at like Marks and Spencers, and they're shopping at Lidl. Like, they're both shops, fair enough. But listen, one is very premium, and that is Florian Wirtz, and he is a premium footballer. That is the best way to describe him. But also, what the people don't realize about him, people describe him, some idiots on Twitter I saw describing him as lazy. Like, my God, he is the complete opposite of that. Like, this bloke probably run more than any player we've had this season,
He
right?
has. He has run the most. He covers, I think the average is about 11 and a half kilometres per player. He's up 12, nearly 13 at sometimes. And the intensity of his runs and sprints as well is right up there.
And he like, if you are the best player, like, being honest, I actually think he is the best football player that we have, like, in terms of technically, and you're running the most. It's a really good addition that is only going to bear fruit in the end. So be patient. I'm sure he will improve.
Oh, I've no doubts he's going to improve, and I've no doubts when this clicks, because we're sitting here, gents, and we're talking about 4 wins from 4, and yet we're still asking when it's going to click and we're going to start playing well. So that is the fear, Connor, I think, that you're talking about. Other fans know that when we do click and when we do hit our stride, we're going to take some stopping.
That's the thing. Like, if you play bad and win 4 from 4 against some tough opposition like Arsenal and Newcastle in there, and Burnley are never easy to win at home or away from home, like, because they're just so defensive. But yeah, like I said, when it clicks, and I think it all kind of ties in together, really. Like, the whole Wirtz isn't as best yet. We're still more to come from Ekitike, obviously. And then Salah, like, we're talking about him dropping levels. Like, it could just be him second guessing everything because he's not used to the players around him yet. So, like, I think it'll all kind of come together at once. We'll have Salah, Ekitike, Wirtz, all the new lads as well, the Kerkez as well, all up to speed, and it's going to just be absolutely magnificent to watch. It's going to be scary for everyone.
Isak in there. Just drop Isak in there as well.
And Isak, of course, yeah.
But we can't ignore the clean sheet aspect as well, which really does help on days like today. If you can keep a clean sheet, like with the Arsenal game today again, it just does take that one moment, whether it's a Szoboszlai free kick, a Salah penalty, it gives you a far better chance to go out there and get these grinding out points that, let's say, Chris, champions do.
Exactly. It is a very big trait of champions. I was just thinking about this. Actually, went for a stroll and picked up something, and I think this is what Ferguson's teams used to do. This is what United used to break my heart every single week when I was a kid growing up, and we're that now. I fucking love it. Honestly, I really enjoy just being good, and I really hope everyone is enjoying this ride because it doesn't last forever. Look at United, like I think it's actually more likely for it to last forever now than maybe before. But if we can maintain these levels and can maintain, being a top elite club, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Be like Rio Ferdinand and just enjoy it because I fucking love it.
I do think we're into dynasty territory now, and the next 3, 4, 5 years, if all goes to plan, could be a very, very successful time. And to look ahead to that, Connor, we've seen lots of links over the last while to Michael Olise. Bayern Space were the ones who originally spoke about the release clause in his contract, but when that clause comes into play is up for debate. But what I want to ask you is, one, do you think he is the right guy to look at long term to replace Mo? And two, would you have any qualms in 2 years paying £100 million to get him?
I suppose the kind of linked the two questions together there. Like the club obviously do seem to think he is the man, and I don't think 100 million is going to be putting them off. Like we've seen, the market is going that way. Like we were the first club in history to spend over 100 million pounds on 2 players in one window this year. So like I don't think FSG or Richard Hughes or whoever makes these financial decisions would look at that and think absolutely not. I think if they see Elise as the long-term successor, they think he's going to get X and Y amount of goals and assists. I think they'll happily put the money down as long as they deem it a good deal for them. So 100% think if he is the man, I think we will get him because I think he would love to come to us. And I think like if the club think he's the right man, then I'm behind that 100%.
So there was 2 parts of this, Chris, that I wanted to discuss with you. And the first part was what really almost freaked me out a little bit is if we waited the full 2 years until Mohamed Salah's contract was up to then go and replace him, Olise still only coming in at 25 years of age then. And to back that up, I want to ask, would that be the right thing to do? Or would you like to see him brought in a year in advance to maybe ease his way in and to, put a bit of pressure on Mo maybe for that last season as well?
It's weird. I actually don't think he is. If we do sign him, obviously he's in the same position and one will be going out, one will be going in. I don't think he is really replacing Mo Salah. I think we're already doing that now with Isak, with Ekitike, with Wirtz, with future-proofing basically. And Olise isn't the goal-scoring monster that Mo Salah is. I'm not saying that he couldn't be that, but I don't think he has the facilities to do that. I think he is much more of a creator than Mo, and a lot less maybe focused on scoring goals. And if his job is to create, then great. But I think honestly, if we can go and get him in 2 years' time or 1 year's time, I'm all for it. Like imagine that. Imagine Elise, Isak, Ekitike, Wirtz, Gakpo, Ngumoha, whoever, and even add Mo Salah. Like, are we saying Mo Salah's done in 2 years? Like, are we saying that?
I wouldn't be expecting an extension at Liverpool, but no, I wouldn't say his career chapter is over at that point. Far from it. I do think he can go on and play till he's 38, 39.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose it depends on the next 2 years, but like, I'm not. I wouldn't rule out him, coming through and scoring 25 goals in the season after next, and us thinking, right, fucking hell, we need to sign him on a new deal, like, because that's what we thought last time.
I mean, just thinking about the age profile there for a second, Connor. 2 years down the line, you'd have a 25-year-old Elise, a 19-year-old Ngumoha, 27-year-old Isak. What age is Ekitike now?
22,
like 22 or something.
So 24-year-old Ekitike, a 20-year-old Giovanni Leone. It's scary when you think about it like that. Isn't it? Like we really have future-proofed.
100%. Like yeah, like this team, it shouldn't be at its best now, really, because like the majority of the players now are still in their youth, and like when they get into that 24 to 27 year bracket, it's going to be just ridiculous. And like everyone, like there was reports during the week saying about like we're not going to be spending huge next windows. Like I don't think we really have to. It is a matter of getting Elise maybe next year or the year after, but it shouldn't be a big wholesale change from here on out for the next couple of years. Like this team was built to last now once we have a bit more reinforcements.
Chris, what does the signing of Ekitike and Isak, as well as the emergence of Rio and Ngumoha, mean for Jayden Danns? This is something that's really struck me over the past week, because where is he going to get those opportunities now to get these minutes? Surely we're going to have to be talking about a second half of a season alone here.
Yeah, he's just had really unfortunate injuries, hasn't he, Jayden Danns? And he's still, like, in the matches I've seen this season from him, like, he still looks sharp, scoring goals, but he picks up injuries so easily. Look, I don't want to make a comparison because I think he's better than him, but like there was a situation when we were talking about selling Origi for Brewster and selling and making sure there was a path for Brewster to come through. I think with this coach, if you're not good enough and if there isn't a path for you, you will get sold and we will try and make money off you. And I think that's where a loan will come in, where, you know, Danns can show his ability maybe in the Championship, where he was meant to last season with Sunderland but got injured. I think that's where it will come in. But I think, you know, he's still only young and he's a brilliant finisher, isn't he? Great profile, great forward. And I hope he goes and proves us wrong. But I think he'll, you know, if Brentford come calling with 20 million, you know, what are you going to say?
Stick a buyback in, yeah, then sorted for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
We love a buyback and a sell-on clause now, don't we, lads? We love it. Actually, forgot to mention Trey Morris-Nioni as well when we were going through those young players there, who's and McConnell, of course, out on loan at Ajax now as well. So, yeah, the future is very, very bright there indeed. Speaking about the future, Connor, I wanted to just your opinion on the situation with Marc Guehi, because we know that he can talk to Bayern, Real Madrid, anybody outside of the UK from January onwards. But there seems to be a lot of confidence from the journalists, the James Pearces of this world, that Liverpool and Guehi have some unfinished business and that it's a matter of time before he become a player. Do you think a Liverpool player, do you think that will be January, or do you think it will be like Marc Guehi said before, not wanting to disrupt mid-season and finish the year with Crystal Palace?
I'd say it'll come down to playing it by ear, really, won't it? Like, I think the plan at the minute probably will be to wait till next summer. But if Konate has a bad injury at the end of November, let's say, I'm sure we're adaptable to move in January if we have to. Or if, let's say, Bayern Munich come in with a good offer, maybe our hand is forced slightly. Like we've seen with Luis Diaz that time, he was going off to Spurs and we kind of jumped ahead like 6 months ahead of plan to sign him. Like, I think Marc Guehi seems to be adamant he will join Liverpool. But if that changes, or if someone else comes in that might change his mind, I'm sure we'll jump in ahead of that and get him. Because like he spent the whole day in Liverpool gear doing a medical, talking with our top club officials and speaking with the manager and probably some of the players as well, talking about this move. Like, so I'm sure in his head it's definitely unfinished business. So I'd be confident enough on that one.
One thing that caught my eye today, Chris, was his old club, Chelsea. He came through a Cobham. Obviously, they've been linked with a move from again. Do you think we've anything to be concerned about there?
Maybe. But I just think, like, why would you go anywhere else at the moment? Like, there is a clear path for Marc Guehi, isn't there? Konate potentially leaving, and even if Konate stays, I think there's a path for him to be a first choice anyway. Van Dijk isn't getting any younger. This is an opportunity for Marc Guehi to, you know, establish himself as one of the best centre backs in the world if he hasn't done that already at Crystal Palace. I also think the one thing that we haven't mentioned is, you know, say Crystal Palace are 9th at the end, mid-January. They're pretty safe. Oliver Glasner's got himself a replacement involved as centre half. I don't think, you know, Palace would potentially be averse to selling him in January as well. I think that might be the compromise that maybe Steve Parish and Oliver Glasner have had, is that actually they'll go out and sign maybe a centre half in January and then let him go for a fee rather than let him go for free the following summer, because I think that's going to be a real killer for them if they do that.
Yeah, it is. It's one thing, as you said, Chris, keeping the player for the season, but when Glasner comes to his chairman at the end of the season looking for that replacement centre back and he's told, well, the pool of money is a lot smaller, that's certainly going to be a headache. I wanted to, just before we finish up, quickly get your thoughts on where you think we are, Connor, with the Ibrahima Konate situation and his contract. We've heard reports from Spain and Spain only that third contract offer that has been spoken about was rejected, but yet nothing from any of the English-based journalists. Where's your head at with this one?
Yeah, like, I like to try to stay optimistic on these things, but the longer it runs on, obviously, the more likely it is he leaves. Like, we even seen, like, how long ago was it? Was it a year or 6 months ago? We seen, like, with Paul Joyce basically saying he was close to signing a contract extension. It seemed like it was done and dusted, and then just suddenly we're nowhere near. Like, how does that happen? How does it go from nearly there to then just this massive gap in whatever he wants? Or maybe it is Madrid in his ear. So I think the longer time goes on, the more I think he probably is going to leave. And I'd probably put it at like 60% leaning towards the leagues, 40 staying. But if we get to January, I think that's probably 75% he's gone.
And for yourself, Chris?
I think he's gone. I think he's going. I'd probably lean. I say now, I'd probably about 20% him staying. I just don't really see it. You won't, when Liverpool are in this current situation, absolutely flying, and you're semi-agitating for a move. Like, I don't want that. Don't involve me with players like that. I think hopefully he turns around and makes the right decision. But yeah, I don't know why you want to go anywhere else, to be honest, Craig, at the moment.
I'm the same. Look, I appreciate the players may look at their careers and think, right, I'll have a bit of time in Germany, time in the Premier League. I wouldn't mind a move to La Liga. But if that is the case, I, as a fan, would just like the pretense of, well, we're still talking behind the scenes to stop. If he is going to make a move, I'm sure everybody's focuses could be better served if we knew what the situation was going to be, whether he was going to leave or he's going to sign a new deal. I kind of think, Connor, we seem to be getting further away from a deal rather than closer and closer, like you mentioned, going back to Paul Joyce, Romano, and others who said it was close. Yeah, it seems to be a couple of offers since then. If it was close, you would imagine it would have to be right there now if we were going to sign.
Yeah, or again, I think we'd be hearing it from the English side more if there was progress being made, and there's just been nothing optimistic at all from the English side. So I'd probably been a little bit too optimistic, saying 40% chance of staying, but I don't really want him to leave. But then again, if we can get in Marc Guehi, I won't be too upset either. So it'll be an interesting one to watch, of course. But I think, the longer time goes on, my confidence will definitely fade, my optimism as well.
And Chris, does it annoy you at all how many of these type of players we've seen end up walking out the door then on a free if Konate goes? We've seen Firmino before, a low fee for Sadio Mane, and others like Trent, who, yes, we got a fee for, but a very last minute fee because of the Club World Cup. It's not a great look when you see guys in their peak like that being able to leave for free.
No, it's not. I mean, it is the sort of in vogue way of leaving a club now, isn't it? If you're a player, because you get a chunky signing on fee, and that it benefits you the most. If the club gets in your ear early on, like Real Madrid clearly did with Trent, that's the way it pans out. I don't blame the players for that, but the club should be able to notice that and act, and potentially getting a fee for themselves before that happens. But to be honest, I don't blame a player for running their contract down as long as they're frank and honest about it.
Yeah, look, you're going to look after your own interests, and if they do fulfill their contract, they've done what they signed up for, which I think gets lost a lot of the time in these conversations as well. Gentlemen, time has beaten us, but the good news for the audience, at least we hope it is that there'll be a bonus episode this week. Obviously, with the Reds playing Wednesday night, myself, Connor, and Steve will be back on Thursday to discuss the Atletico Madrid game, to have a look ahead to the Merseyside derby and anything else that pops up during the week. So I want to say a massive thank you, as always, to Chris and to Connor and to you guys for your time as well. Appreciate all your comments. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section, and we'll be back on Thursday. Much love from all of us. Bye-bye.